Hi, this is Tina Marie, and welcome to the Bonfire Career Professionals call. We do this call once a month so we can help those clients that have enrolled our coaching practices and method and our coaches to help them in their career. Maybe it's moving from one career to the next. Maybe it's actually jumping industries. Maybe it's simply updating their resume and their online branding, or they're already in a position in a career and they want to become better leaders, better, more effective employees, and understand how to play the game well so that they have more money in their pocket and have a game plan on how they're going to advance through their industry and their company. So all those things get addressed, and we dissect those little bitty pieces here on our Career Professionals call, and I'll have a themed call each month, and then we also open it up for Q&A. So I'm going to go ahead and jump in and also text a couple of the peeps that I know that love to be here. We are in the holidays, and sometimes we forget there's so much going on, and our attentions are being pushed and pulled every which way. And so I'm going to text a couple people that I know love this call and just want to make sure that they know that it's happening right now. And Pam, I'm going to text you the link so that you can also send that to some of our career professional peeps. Just so
you got it.
So that they know. And for those that haven't met Pam and you're watching the recording, Pam is our director of possibilities. I would not be able to be as effective in my life if Pam were not in it. So Pam, thank you
Thank you.
Thank you so much. We have those people around us that keep us sane and keep things happening because we can't do everything on our own. It'd be so painful to even try that. We like to begin with wins, and I know, Travis, you're like our one lone person. I'm trying to get you some more cohorts here inside, so I'm texting them. We love to begin with wins, and wins would sound like or look like these are things that are working well in my life right now, or I've just reached this epiphany and this new understanding about life and what's going on for me. And so we like to share our wins. Hi, Alicia, how you doing? Great to see you. I'm texting a few people just so they know that the Career Professionals call is happening right now. And we are at the place, Alicia, where we share our wins. And so if you have one, go ahead and unmute your mic and share where some growth has been for you, some wins, some aha, so we can celebrate with you.
Well, I'm still patiently going through this interview process on this position that I'd really like. And I had to take a personality test, and thank you, Tina Marie, for your guidance. I just felt good after it was over. I think it went fine. And I feel very positive that if I don't get it, you can never blame it on someone's personality. You are who you are. So I'm feeling good about it.
And like I said, go in being absolutely authentic, take a breath, don't take it personal. Sometimes we want to guess the answers, and that doesn't ever feel comfortable, does it? Awesome. Thank you for sharing that. I'm texting some of our Career Essentials course people too, which is really great. And so, Travis, any wins in your life right now, steps forward that you'd like to share with us that you've noticed?
Well, this meeting with you, meeting you all, welcome. And just sort of interviewing you all and hearing what you have to offer, and just trying to expand my network and make positive steps towards my new career, whatever that may be.
There you go. I'm so happy that you're here. Congratulations.
Yeah.
Pam, what's a win for Pam? She's texting people. What's a win for Pam?
Well, on a personal level, I hit the 10 pounds eliminated mark yesterday. So there we go.
I like that. We do not say we lost it because we'll find it, right? So
that's right. It's just been eliminated.
Mm-hmm. Awesome. Good job. For us here at Bonfire, we have been in the reconstruction and the evaluation of all the processes here internal to our company. So it's just so energizing and fun. If you were to see so I've got this whiteboard, and I'm still in some boxes. We're narrowing down those boxes and getting them out of here. But we have this dry erase wall, and we're like completely mapping all the processes here. And it's fun to do that and get more efficient. And, if we're not looking at how we can improve, we'll stagnate. So thank you, team. So today we're going to be talking about the review time. So we're in a career, and comes review time. We get in front of our managers, our higher ups, those people that are going to evaluate our progress and give us some feedback. I don't know about you, but I remember the first time I had a review, and I was a baby career professional. I was, 21, 22. And I worked at an energy firm, Dynegy. Before then, it was called Natural Gas Clearinghouse, and we bought and sold gas, natural gas, and all those different products, and got them to market. And I worked in the help desk area, helping fix computers and monitors and setting things up and training people on how to use computers. And whenever my boss said you're going to have an annual review, I knew that I'd heard that review time was coming, but I didn't really know what that meant. And nobody really prepared me for it. They didn't say, come with anything, or this is how it's going to go. It was like this ghostly, I'm just going to show up and see what happens. And I was so nervous. Like right before I went in, I remember thinking that it felt like there was like this frog or something in my throat. And I was like, oh my God, I think I'm going to pass out. And I didn't want to do that in front of my boss. But after that, I got the ropes and understood what to do. And since then, I've given reviews for thousands of people over the multiple companies that I've owned and the people that I've hired, and where the advances have happened. So I'm giving you the best advice I can give you to understand how this review time is essential to our careers and essential to the company that we're working with and for, and definitely essential for our management and our team culture. So who else would love to share? Do you remember the first review you ever had, and how did that go? If you could take us back to that moment. Alicia, you're smiling. I see this. Do you have any shares of that, the embryonic version of ourselves whenever that process was happening inside the company?
I've been somewhere for 25 years and I've never had a review there. And that's most of my career. Yes.
Oh my goodness. It's kind of funny because one of my notes is what happens when your company does not do reviews or your boss doesn't do reviews, because it could be like optional, right? So I'd love to ask you a question there. Would you love to have a review?
Yes, but I think it would be really upsetting after this many years, because why didn't they tell me? Why didn't they tell me I was doing something that irritated them, or that I was doing it a way they didn't want? At this point, I don't. But yes, I would have liked one. I would have said yes in the first 5 years.
Yeah, because right now it's too late.
Yeah, it's too late.
And it doesn't hold the same credence or the value I can hear in how you're sharing. You wouldn't trust it, right?
Well, I would, but I would just probably be simply horrified that they hadn't told me earlier that they wanted me to do something differently, or that something was.
Yeah. So that places the understanding that there is a proper time for reviews, because then they become constructive. After a certain period of time, they can become destructive to our confidence, to our relationship with our authorities. Mm-hmm. And so one of the things I ask is, if you find yourself in an organization, sometimes small companies or mid-sized companies don't have a formal review process, or even an HR department. If you ever find yourself in that scenario, you get the privilege to go to your boss, your management, your supervisor, and ask for a review. It'll feel awkward, and they may even feel awkward, because if they do not have a process internally to map that and to satisfy that need for their employees, then they're being stepped up in their game. They're being asked to produce something that they obviously have been ignoring and hesitant to do. It takes energy for management to find the open-mindedness of how to review an employee that's constructive, and it will build as opposed to destroy or knock down. And I have seen in many companies that review time, it's been used as we're going to have annual reviews, and the employee or the staff is like, where's this coming from? And it creates a fear inside of the company, because they're going, are they going to use this to can somebody? Is this now going to be the reasons why they get to lay people off? And that is so painful, because the truth is, review time is this growth time. And as we know here at Bonfire, we have a methodology. And so Travis, you'll be hearing this for the first time, unless Pam did show you this. We have something called the above the line, below the line. And what we help our clients know is that we're always getting our 6 human needs met. I'm pulling up one of our trusty binders here. So there's an above the line, below the line. I know you probably can't read that because it's sort of little. But our goal is to exist above the line in all of our decision making. And whenever we have growth, which is one of the higher human needs, love, connection, growth, and contribution. And whenever we have growth, the potential for growth, we want to give our all into it. If we're in a company or a position working for someone who does not give us that feedback, who doesn't allow that feedback loop to happen and growth to happen, then we are going to plan our escape at some point in time. It's only, time will tell. Alicia, you have a strong staying power. And so that 25 years, that's a hallmark on your resume to say I'm loyal and I stick it out, because I'd have to imagine that without that feedback loop and understanding how you could grow it, you had to create your own growth plan outside of what they were giving you, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. It's not always easy. You want to grow in an effective way that goes toward a goal that everybody can get behind, right? So I'm going to start on my notes here. We've already talked about how review time can be nerve-wracking. And I've also said you get permission to ask your management to have a review. It's, give them time. We don't want that review to happen right then and there, because that's just off the cuff and it's not going to be sincere, and it's probably not going to be as constructive as it could be if you allow your management to say, I was wondering if we could plan a time maybe next week where we could sit down and I can get some feedback on how I'm performing within the role. And you want to address your job description. So if you have not been given a formal job description, that's going to be step 0, because you need to have a formal job description before you can be reviewed on your performance of said role. And if they do not have internally a way to, they haven't even documented your job description, take it upon yourself to document what you're responsible for, what you've been contributing towards, how you've been performing, where the projects that you've fulfilled some piece on have been, and document your job description. Do it ahead of time if you know that there has not been a formal job description presented to you. That way, whenever you come to your management and say, hey, I'd love to get some feedback on how I'm doing in the role, I've taken the liberty to go ahead and document my job description and what I've been working towards and with and on, so that you can have an idea of how to rate me in that. And then plan that to be a week or 2 weeks out to give your managers, supervisors time to effectively, they're going to have to go to the drawing board or Google and say, oh my God, I've got to give an employee review. How do I do this? That's on them. You've taken the proper steps to ask for that. So today, what we're also going to tap into is how do you accept the feedback during that review? How do you hold your energy and participate in that conversation, and what not to do, what to do, so that it goes out very well. And the outcome here is that you are seen as a resource, an employee, a staff member that is highly valued, and that they see that your potential is just barely being tapped. Because once we know that we've got an A player on our team, we want to keep that A player. And once we know that that A player is there and engaged and willing to grow and participate, we're going to look for more higher, more valuable roles and responsibilities to give this person. And that's where you climb the ladder. And that's where your compensation also grows, which we know we're not doing this all for free. We need to have a good compensation package, right? Yes, both thumbs up on that one. I want you to get paid and love what you're doing. So I will be, for the people that have registered here, I will be sending you your own review. How do you review yourself? I'm going to send you this template on how you do your review and how you approach that. Now, if your company has a review system and it's mandated, it's already documented, you want to get that ahead of time. So if your the relationship you have with your management, with your supervisor and your staff there, they're going to tell you where that review cycle is going to be expected. Maybe it's a mid-year review, maybe it's an annual review, and it's at the end of the year. There's going to be some communication and understanding of the timeline in which that happens. And for the best companies, I love the companies that do this, they'll give you that entire template and they'll ask you, rate yourself, outline your own job responsibilities, because it's based on what you believe is true. And then they'll ask you to turn that in. Always make a copy of your work, please. Get a copy of that, save it, because you want to bring that out 6 months in the future, 12 months in the future. Keep all your reviews. And then they're going to rate based on your experience of what you believe you've done and how you've performed. They're going to have the management also do a review so that you're on the same page. The worst thing is when you come to a review, this is what you believe you're being considered for or ranked on, or this is your performance, this is what you've done. And then your management comes with a whole different storyline, like, oh gosh, how do we communicate at that level? And I'm going to help you do that. So once you've done your own review of yourself, hopefully your company sets you up for success there and tells you how to do it, right? If they haven't and they don't have that internal system, this template I'm going to be sending you will help you review yourself. You want to come to your review with something of substance where you've already taken the time to sit down and go, how have I done? These are the top projects, the top roles, the top responsibilities that I know that I was responsible for. This is how I believe I performed at. It's usually from like a 1 to 10, 10 being the highest is the rating. And this is where I know I can improve. Rarely do we come to a place in our life where we think, I've aced it, can't possibly improve in any way, shape, or form. So I want to be humble there. We want to rank ourselves of where I am. And then this next period of time, be it a 6-month period of time, be it a year period of time, this is what I see myself working towards and working on to become even more, to become more of an A-type player for the company. You can list those specific projects and even team members you worked with. Sometimes our management, I know this happened for me, my management didn't know that I was working in collaboration with multiple teams for this one project called the BEST project. And the BEST project was building the energy store of tomorrow. They knew because I was assigned to the IT group. And IT is known as a cost center, typically. And IT, they're responsible for the servers and the network and the apps and the software and user rights and all that type of stuff. My role was development and future strategy planning for the IT utilization of what we'd already invested in, and how can we take that and have it be something that we can make money on in the marketplace. So I was helping them take all of our internal structures, package that as an outside package that other natural gas firms could then leverage. And that way our IT was going to be paid for. It was awesome. They didn't know who all I was working with. So whenever my management came to review me, they knew the IT portion of my role, but they did not know all these other committees and departments I was working with to be on the strategy side for the BEST project. So I had to come with my own review of that. They had no visibility into those things. They weren't all in those meetings. I was brought into those. So review yourself, leave space for growth, outline the specific takeaways and results that you've created and have been effective. And then also help them see who you've collaborated with. Who are those other team players? That has another effect, which is really crucial in the culture of our companies. And that is where the above the line, below the line comes back into play. If you remember, below the line is about me. Below the line is what I did, what I achieved, what I contributed to. And yes, a good portion of that is true. Yet, we want to have the mindset of the we. We want to know what the team did, what I helped the team with, us together. There's more than you in a role or contributing to an outcome, more than likely. So we want to highlight the we side of your role as well. They're going to see that you have leadership potential, management potential, supervisory potential, and executive potential, which is what we want to develop in ourselves. I don't care where you're starting out in a corporation, whether you are in the mailroom or like me, I was answering the help desk. You have an executive future. And so whenever we can start showing our management that we have that in us, this team atmosphere, this contributory nature to ourselves, the making certain that our team is also happy, doing well, that we're getting along, that we're collaborating, that we can do that, they're going to know that you have executive potential. And trust me, you want to be that in today's time frame, because you're not going to be on the cut them and let them go list whenever they're thinning the herd. And right now, I just got 2 announcements with 2 major firms in the Houston area that are going to be cutting a mass of their staff come January. And that's painful to know. It's good for us to know because we help them find their next place. But it's painful to know that they're going to need to pivot and recreate themselves, right? And that's why we gather here on the Career Professionals Call. So from what I've already shared, does anybody have any questions, contributions, stories of how this has affected you in your life? Any takeaways to this point right now? Just raise your hand, unmute your mic. Yes, Pam.
I'm just curious with Leisha. You never had a formal review, but did you have an actual job description at any point that you could work with?
No, I never had a job description. And because I had only been at, I've been at Saks Fifth Avenue for 1 year and Maidenform for 1 year. And any review I had there, I honestly don't remember. I'm sure I had a review because I was only there for 2 years in each. So I did not have the experience, but thankfully I just kind of had to evaluate myself and keep kind of pivoting within, and my roles kept changing. So
Yeah.
it was just sort of, it was okay with my personality. I think I didn't get jammed up because of that.
You're tenacious.
Well, the reason I ask is because I know you've had so many different roles there and you've been in charge of so many different things. I just wondered if over the years, as you progressed, if they had updated a job description.
No, never even had one. By the way, the reason I am definitely here is today is because I'm going to be getting my first one from my new, very young boss. So this is going to be quite painful. I have a feeling.
Well, if you hold the attitude, it's going to be painful. You'll create that. So let's create some ease there,
okay.
right?
Okay.
We've got method and strategy now to create ease.
Okay.
This experience is going to be alive. It's going to be fun. It's going to be engaging. Finally, I'm getting a review. This is awesome. So energy rich. Okay.
Okay.
Thank you for that. And so I would, Alicia, in your case, I would definitely suggest you write down your own job description. Go ahead and outline your job description, create your role, have them know what your performance and what your responsibilities have been, and get that to him. When is your review? Do you know the time for that? Sorry.
He's been pushing it since started talking about it before Thanksgiving.
Okay. So what would really be helpful and constructive for him is to see that job description, and that way he's going to know what he's ranking you on, what he's rating you on, he's going to be giving you that performance feedback towards, because otherwise it's going to be just a shot in the dark, right in the moment. It's not going to have a lot of substance to it. And you're a how type. And so a how type needs to have like something that you can grasp and you can trust, right? So I would suggest you write out your role responsibilities and give that to him prior. With the messaging, I thought I'd provide this to you. So whenever we do have our performance review, whenever we can sit down for that, you'll understand what I've been working towards and what the responsibilities I have as far as I see them are. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
And then this template I'll be providing, you can also rank yourself based on that job description, those roles and responsibilities as well before you get there.
Okay.
Cool. So in the place where you have had a review prior and you're coming up for the next review, those nerves are still there. Just take a breath, come calm and ready to engage. We want to elicit our curiosity and to know that this review process is a tool for our growth. It's a tool for our effectiveness as a professional. It's a tool for us to not prove something. If we go in with the attitude that I want to prove to my management that I'm an A player, we've already lost the game. The truth is, you're an A player. Bring your A game to your presence, your mindfulness, and your engagement in the conversation so that you can take the feedback and you're going to go to the next level, right? We're not there to prove anything and justify, and I'm going to get into that a little bit more here in a minute. If you've had a prior review with your company, bring it to your new review. Bring all your past reviews to your review. Then also bring the review that you've done for this particular review if you've already assessed yourself. Things not to do in a review. So this is a really great list. And let me I'm going to put this in to a chat here. I'm going to put these in the chat because I'm reading off my notes, and I know people like to take copious notes. I appreciate that. However, it's probably easier for you to let me just paste these in. Why are they not going? I did it twice. Okay. So you've got the before the review, you've got the things not to do in the review. So let me go through these. We do not want to argue with management inside of a review situation. They've already been positioned on their belief systems. We're not going to change their belief systems there. It's like whenever we're driving our car and someone cuts us off in traffic, it's not the time to teach them how to drive. It's not the time to teach them a lesson of that was wrong, right? Because they're already stuck in their beliefs, and it's evidenced by the actions they're taking. Inside of a review, your management has already come to this conclusion. Defending yourself, it's not going to go well. It's going to look like, in our case, we have another strategy here called the boxes. You're going to be coming from inside one of the boxes. In fact, I'm going to challenge the people who know the boxes here. If someone is in a review and they disagree with a rating or performance review, a point that's being discussed, and they want to rebuke that, or they want to come and it feels like more of a disagreement or argument, what box could they possibly be in? What mindset could they possibly be coming from? And whenever we think of the boxes, who remembers it? Alicia's going, I gotta go grab it. I gotta go grab it.
I'm gonna say it could be they feel like they're being victimized, so seen as a victim.
Yeah, the worse than box. Mm-hmm.
But then also when they start going into the being defensive about themselves, it's got to be the must be seen as.
Completely.
Yes.
We've seen it, pegged it on. Ding, ding, ding. If I had a bell. Alicia, could you see any of the other boxes playing out too? If you're sitting in that review and you're getting, triggered by the responses that you're hearing from your management, that mindset's not agreeing with it, and you want to rebuke it, what would you say?
Sure. I mean, the worse than box, victim, not fair, that kind of thing.
What if better than, if we come from an, like, I'm going to fix you, boss, because you don't know the truth?
Then you'd start arguing, and that would be better than box. Yeah.
Let me school you because you haven't been doing my job. I'm going to tell you exactly how it is, right? That can come across as the better than. So as professionals in the Bonfire method, we know that if we are feeling disturbed inside of our nervous system, if our breath is short, if we're feeling tension, that we have the skills to move that tension out, stay present, mindful, and listen. Above the line is curiosity. We use the term often, help me understand. Let me see what you see. Tell me what, has you believe that. Can you be more specific? I remember asking one of my managers, his last name will go unnamed, his first name's Ron. I was saying, okay, so I hear your feedback. Can you help me see more specifically where that played itself out to get this, to have you believe that? And he wasn't able to come up with specifics. He was generalizing and it didn't have any ground. And so I wasn't going to argue with him there. I simply wanted to know the data, and I was taking notes. And as I thought about it, because after the review, I remember saying, thank you for your feedback. I really appreciate our time here. Is it okay if I go back? And most companies do this. They give you the review from the manager, and they'll say, if you have any other thoughts or anything that you do not agree with exactly, there'll be a box for it. You write those things down and turn that into HR. You do not turn that into your manager, right? Because it usually goes nowhere if they're not on the same page with you. Hopefully the organization you work with will have a formal process. You go to HR with that, and then they review it. And in this case, we did, and Ron was able to undo those and be more specific, because without specific feedback, you cannot improve. It's the same thing with anything in your life. If you're not able to measure that area of your life, like our weight, our health, right? We have specific measurements on that. We use the scale for measurements. We can use our flexibility. We can use our strength as measurements to improve our health. We can go to different specific doctors and rate the health of different organ systems, and we'll know how we can improve inside of our career. If we do not have specifics, we cannot improve, or it's just a shot in the dark, right? So nothing not to do is to, defend, really, please do not cry in a review. As a manager that has had multiple employees break down and cry, it's understanding how to receive feedback. I wasn't yelling. I was just simply saying, this is where I see we can improve. This is where things can go from here. They took it personally, and that sting came out in tears. And so I asked them to compose themselves, and we would continue later. So something that isn't really constructive to progress is crying. That emotion means that there's been some tolerance of the lack of communication that you have. If you find yourself tearing up or you're taking their words personally, we want to depersonalize, even though it's hard to do that because we're getting rated on our performance, right? It can be personal. However, it's the objective of the solution that you provide as an employee that they're really looking for. As I've shared on other calls, there's 3 things we do as employees to anyone's bottom line. 1, we're either going to save them money. 2, we're going to make them money. Or 3, we're going to improve a process that's going to save money or make money. So in those roles and responsibilities, whenever they're giving the performance review, we want to stay objective and not take it personally. We want to aim it back at, great, awesome. What's the process that can be improved? How can I become more efficient? How can I become more skilled? How can I help you save money or make money? That's what it comes down to. And the truth is, leadership is they're being hounded by their leaders to do the same things, right? So to remove that triggerability of, it's going to be painful to my self-confidence, or we're below the line saying they don't understand me, they don't value me. If we ever hear our mind making up the story of me, that's below the line. The saboteur is in charge of your thinking. That's where you're wanting certainty or significance. It's a painful outcome. So we want to shift, shoulders back, breath in the system. We want to come in prepared and ready to receive feedback. Take that feedback, let curiosity lead the day, because that's how you're going to grow. And that's how your leadership's going to grow. Even if they're terrible at expressing themselves and they use language that most humans would get triggered by, take a breath. Don't take it personally. We're looking for the outcome. What outcome are we aiming at? If we're not clear on the outcome, then we help our management be very clear and say, help me understand what specific outcomes we want to shoot for in the next 3 to 6, 9 months. What is it that we're looking for? How can I contribute toward that? I'm here for you, right? The other thing we don't do is we do not blame others. We don't push the blame. If this is our review and we hear something and then our mind goes, but that was so-and-so's job. That wasn't my job. Or I couldn't have done that because this person did that. We build the story of defense. That's in the boxes, and that's definitely below the line. Compose ourselves. If we hear our mind wanting to blame or use language that's going to blame a circumstance or blame a person, then we simply want to reframe that and say, thank you so much. I understand that. Given the circumstances, let's look at where that's going to change in the future. Help me understand is a great way to start. What would have been different? You want to understand how you could have improved, what they would have seen happen differently. And if you're only getting the feedback now, especially Alicia, after 25 years, it's going to be a whole lot of help me understand. But I'm not certain that this particular CEO would have the availability to give you a proper review at this stage in his career, unfortunately. So you have grace with the process, right? Yeah. Also, do not try to fix that. FI is an X. We're fixing the word fix right now. So do not try to fix the person and help them see your point of view. You can talk to it, but not like at the person, trying to make them wrong. Or like I said earlier, we're not schooling them in what's right or wrong. We're taking the feedback. Ask for a time to, once you've digested, it's at the end of the review. If you've had a stellar review, of course, stellar reviews, it meets with us and go, oh, that's so great. They love me here. It's great. You also want to have where you're going to grow. We do not want to leave a review with nothing to grow on. We don't want to leave a review where you think like, I am that person. Yeah, I did it. Awesome. Because as soon as you leave the door, you're going to go, well, what's next? How do I grow? What else do they want? Do I just keep doing what I've been doing? Is that going to be enough? So we want to move that conversation into, thank you so much for your feedback. I'm here to grow. I want to become an even more A player for the organization. Help me understand what those next steps look like. What can I aim for? How can we communicate better? What are you measuring? How can we stay in communication about that? So push that envelope for growth, because when you're growing, you're contributing more. When you do that, you stay on that executive track. Any questions in that particular part of our time together today? Any feedback? Any stories? Travis, have you had any reviews yet? Have you experienced this?
No, yes, absolutely. I was just thinking, I'm tracking everything you're saying and just recalling experiences from my time at my previous company of 6 years, where I had the opportunity to be on both sides of this. So I received reviews, and then I was promoted to manager and I gave reviews. And so I got to see both sides of it. And then I just wanted to say that, going into the review process, I could use it as an opportunity to grow, obviously, and it's very humbling. And you kind of have to set aside your ego in order to receive that feedback. So, and then I got to use that information and do it on the other side to the candidate. So,
yeah. Have you ever had a candidate cry, or did you have any stumbling blocks whenever you were management?
Yeah, I just had people who were just argumentative and defensive, and so that was sort of difficult to deal with, and you just had to keep your composure and come to a solution.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Could you see how, if the person across from you were to have these types of understandings, that it would have gone a lot better?
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. To hold your composure and just be professional. It takes coaching, obviously, and it takes time and maturity and growth. And so, yeah, absolutely.
Thank you for your feedback. Thank you so much. It's valuable. Michelle, anything from your side of the equation for our discussion today, anything you'd love to share also?
You were saying earlier about asking for feedback. I've done that when I just started a job. I like to do like a 30-day review with my boss, especially if I just started the position. I wanted to make sure that I'm doing the things I need to do, and if they had any feedback, because I know everyone does things a little bit differently. And so I personally like a formal sit down where I can write down notes and ask them for feedback. When I have given feedback, it's usually with students, and so it's a little bit different because they're not the most formal. This is, their internship or something like that, and so they have tends to get super defensive. And then I feel like it's a lesson, like, hey, here's how you receive feedback, and this is how it could be helpful to you.
Yeah.
But listening to what you're saying, there's definitely, like, I get all that anxiety you were saying before, which is I need to breathe, and I need to be calmer, because I think it is kind of nerve-wracking, because you don't know sometimes what's behind the feedback, like you're saying. So.
And you get to ask. Thank you so much. That's a great point there, Michelle, is we get to ask. If we receive feedback and it's not really resonating with us, or there seems to be another question mark for us, we get to ask that, to have the bravado and the courage to say, help me understand, let me see that. I want to know more about what you're saying so that I can learn here, and be sincere about it, not punchy with it to try and prove your point, or to have them go on their heels and be defensive. We want to lean in and be really constructive and say, let's dig into this, because this is valuable stuff. This is how any of us grow. It reminds me, I hired a yoga teacher to help me with my yoga postures. And so whenever we're doing yoga, we cannot see ourselves. We can barely see. I mean, some of our yoga positions you can't see. You're like, oh my God, like I feel a little stuck right now, but it's loosening and opening up. So it's great having the yoga teacher move me slightly to open up and get the full effect of the posture. And had I not had that slight nuance of a shift, then I would have been depleting myself for the true engagement that my body could have experienced through that exercise. And that's what any career is. We're all growing. There's no final destination. And even for the executives that I coach that are at the helms of massive organizations, they too know that they must grow. I had this one gentleman, he's over a medical consortium, multiple billions of dollars. And he met with me and he said, he calls me T. He said, T, you know, it's strange. I've gotten to this place in my life where I can literally go pay cash for most of anything I'd ever want. He said, if I wanted a new Maserati, I can go pay cash for that. If I want to go book a trip to hike or to climb to the top of the Himalayas again in Everest, which he'd done, Everest, he'd reached the second base camp. He said, I can go do that. I can do really the freedom financially, anything in the world that I want. He said, why do I feel so unsatisfied? Why do I feel so stuck? And we dove into his human needs, and what he had not tapped into yet was contribution. He had, you know, mastered his skill. He was very well renowned. He'd even been on one of the president's panels for health whenever they were evaluating the new health structures and health systems. And what he hadn't tapped into fully, he dabbled in it through his church. He dabbled in it through what his wife thought was important, and he was helping, you know, her causes. But he hadn't dove into for himself what his contribution was to the world. And I point that out through reviews. Whenever we step into a review process, whether we're getting them, hopefully we're getting them often. And if we get to the level where we're not getting reviews, that's where you definitely need a coach, because they can give you outside perspective toward you and who you are and why you are and what you want to be known for. But then whenever we're also giving reviews, the entire thing is positioned on one thing, and that is growth. And if we go in with the mindset of this is growing, this is growth, this is the feedback my soul needs, my professional self needs, then it's going to dampen any nervousness, any personal, you know, like you said, the ego, right, Travis? Whenever that sting is going to come up, it will. We just breathe and set it down. It doesn't need to be in the room with us. We just tell it to leave again, because you're a future executive. And what I helped this executive design is that he realized that his contribution, he'd been playing small. And it's strange because you could look at his entire, you know, portfolio and what he'd done. And for someone to realize, wow, I'm playing small, that opens up all this possibility then. And he then started, he said, this must go bigger. What we've already built and how we've helped so many people must now go bigger. And it lit him on a fire that I'd never seen before in him. And now he has contributed so much. He's actually in front of Congress helping them rewrite the effects of the insurance companies on our medical history, on our health as individuals, and who's really in control of the game. And I'm so grateful that he had that one question. I remember where we were. We met in a hotel lobby over water. That was always what we did. And so his asking for a session was, hey, you thirsty? Would you like some water? And we would go and have a session over, you know, Perrier with lime. And he would investigate himself and go deeper in who he is and why he is in the world. Every single one of us has that availability, especially right now. We're at that pivotal point where it's the end of a year and the beginning of a new. And for most of us, we look at our goals and our achievements and we take inventory, we take harvest. So I encourage you to look at, am I really living the life I'd love to live? Am I really pushing my own envelope? Am I growing? Am I dedicated to the next level? Am I stepping up? And I have 3 coaches, not because I'm that hard of a case, but I have 3 coaches because one is for my finance and my wealth and my financial vitality. He keeps me square on where that number is and where it's going. And I partner with him on the business so that he understands where is that wealth moving, because it's not just my wealth, it's the wealth of the company. And the wealth of the company helps all the people underneath the umbrella. And then I also have a life coach, and he helps me with just how I'm thinking and where's my perspective, and am I really pushing my own game? And then I have my business coach, and she's helping with the different structures and the positions of everything that need to tie together in some beautiful framework. And every now and then we take the framework and we shake it a bit and see if it's still the best framework, right? So coaching helps us all grow. And whenever we are humble and very transparent with our coach, that's the best growth we can have. I want to go back to my notes, make sure that I've shared everything I wanted to share with you. As a summary, accept feedback, be ready, come prepared to the review, already have reviewed yourself. We're going to send you that template so you can do that constructively. Be honest with yourself. Also point out where you know you can grow, where you want to grow, how you want to improve yourself. Be open to what the company may want you to grow towards, because it may not be where you want to grow. I remember in one of my careers, they wanted me to move outside of this one area, which I'd mastered it. It was awesome. I was jamming so much productivity, and they wanted to give that entire role to another person. Of course, my ego was like, oh, what? I just built that. What are you talking about? But they had greater vision for myself. They could see that I could contribute more to the company in this other role that was just being defined. The best team was being developed. Had no clue what it was. I had to leap into something of the unknown. And that's my entrepreneurial spirit. I'm so glad they did that, because it was phenomenal. I got to go present to the FDIC, sit on a board there with deregulating the natural gas industry. And then it went into deregulating electricity. It was phenomenal. Loved it. And so had I been attached to something and stranglehold on that, I would have missed so many opportunities. So come open for the feedback and the grace of where life is taking you, because where you've been doesn't define where you're going, especially as a professional. Then also know that you need to prepare before, go in breathing posture, get in state, get in your energy rich state. Know that life is working for you and through you, not against you. If you have that lower mind going, if there's any judgment wanting to come into the review, we need to set that down, because that's not going to go well, right? That's an energy drain. And Travis, we have something here called the 5 C's. And the 5 C's are complaining, criticizing, condemning, commiserating, telling that sad story with other people, or even with ourselves, because we could be our own best friend in those sad stories. And then also comparing. If we compare ourselves to any other version of ourselves, or a future version of ourselves, or to any other being, then we have taken away our own power. So we want to sit those 5 C's down, go above the line. How am I going to contribute? Where's my new version? Where am I growing? And be connected to the people that are taking their time to give you this feedback. Value it. Then ask questions. Help me understand. Can you be more specific? I really want to know where you're coming from so I can understand this. I'm here. I want to be considered an A player in this company, and I'm here for the long haul, to allow them to know that this review is constructive for you and not something of pain. So this is a time where I open it up to any questions. If there's something I have not hit, if there's something going on in your mind, if it's anything else, not just about reviews today, if something else is going in your career, if you're getting ready for an interview, if you're positioning yourself for a job search, is there anything else going on for you right now that I could help towards? Michelle's like, no, got it. Leisha, the personality test. Did you get a copy of your personality test? You can ask for one.
Okay.
Which one did you take?
It had 2 parts. The first page said, what do others expect you to be? And then it was a page full of descriptive words. And then the second page was, who are you actually?
Sounds like a Myers-Briggs. Okay. But you don't know. How long did it take you to take it?
They said it would take about 10 minutes. I took 30.
Wow. You're a how type.
Exactly. So I have the right to ask for the results?
Yeah. You say, do you mind if could I please obtain a copy of the personality test that I took?
Okay.
Say I'm committed to my own growth. That would be helpful for me.
Okay.
Right? Because it would be, right?
Yeah,
Would
of course.
like a copy of it?
Yeah, it'd be neat.
Because I want to see it too.
Yeah. Okay.
Awesome. This is cool. When are you going to hear any feedback? Did they give you a timetable?
No.
Okay. No. Have you asked? When did you take that?
I took it yesterday morning.
Yesterday morning. Okay. So if you haven't heard anything by tomorrow at lunchtime, do call the recruiter and find out what the next step is.
Okay.
Deal? This is your power, right?
Okay.
You don't sit and wait.
Okay.
You participate, because they're also watching that. Right?
Okay.
Cool.
Okay.
Any other questions? Things? Travis, did you walk away with some things today?
Yes, absolutely. Thank you all for allowing me to be here. I appreciate everything I've learned, and can take some valuable information here moving forward, and
Awesome.
helping me better understand, get to know who you all are and what you do. And you seem very professional. So I appreciate the time.
By the way, Alicia, Travis is trying on the Bonfire. If you have any words of encouragement or just your open knowing of how this has been for you in career coaching.
Travis, I interviewed 3 different groups, and for me, it was hands down. It was Tina Marie and Pamela who visited with me. It was just hands down, they were the right ones, and it's been such a good choice. It really has. It's been, it hasn't only been a building of my confidence in that I know what to do, the process for finding a new job, but it's been personally, I think I'm looking for a completely different kind of job, and it's definitely higher, bigger, broader, more exciting than what I was planning on initially because of what I've been exposed to here.
Yeah, great. Yeah, I can definitely see that.
Yeah, and there's a lot more coaches behind me. You just can't see them. We've got 8 other coaches here, so, and they're all skilled in the same thing. I just happen to be leading today's call. So thank you all. Any other takeaways that you want to say? This was absolutely worth my time here today.
It was great.
Yeah.
Great. Thank you.
Awesome. Thank you. Have a beautiful rest of your day. Hope you get to enjoy the beautiful weather, and I'll see you next time on another call.
Bye, Michelle.
Bye.
I didn't say hi.
Nice to meet y'all. Thank you.
Nice to meet you, Travis.
Thank
Hope you
you.
get to join us.
Bye.
Bye-bye.